Hey everybody, this is Keith. I've been at Observe for a little over a year and a half now, and Observe's been getting a lot of recognition in the observability space for lots of good reasons. Just really kind of change things from an architecture standpoint and being able to link things together. Prior to me coming here, though, I have about a 10-year history in cybersecurity and mainly SIM and security logging. And I just wanted to take an opportunity to quickly demonstrate how you can also conduct some of your security workflows inside of something like Observo as well. So the situation that I have inside of my environment today is that I had an alert come in from GuardDuty, and I wanted to kind of go a little bit through the triage of that and how you can do some of those type of things inside of the platform. Today I received this GuardDuty trigger, and I'm just going to say let's go ahead and look at this notification. It's going to take you to the monitor page inside of Observe, and it's going to give you just some of that basic information that you'd want to know about. So a little bit about what it takes to make this particular alert trigger inside of here, who created the alert, and then basically a little bit of the description inside of here. So I can see this particular notification is this IP trying to brute force. It looks like this EC2 instance that I have inside of my environment. Scroll down a little bit further, it's just going to give you a little bit of information about the incident graph itself. And then here's actually the raw log in itself that we got from GuardDuty coming from my AWS account. And as I start to scroll over a little bit more, one of the things that I noticed is that Observe automatically does a translation of the data inside of here. So basically, we know that I068, et cetera, is web server 1. So it's nice that you don't have to go do that type of research and try to go figure out what that is. We immediately know that. And I'll show you how Observe can do that as well. And then just scroll over a little bit further, just some more information about this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to the top here and I'm going to say, go show me the monitored logs. And what that's going to do for me is it actually takes us to our log explorer. And I can see right now immediately pivoted to my GuardDuty detections. And it took me exactly to this GuardDuty detection, exactly the trigger moment when that ended up happening here. So one of the things I'm actually going to do is that because we're going to do a little bit of investigation here, because I want to gain some context here, because we see this unauthorized brute force attempt against one of my EC2 instances. I kind of want to gain some more context here. I want to understand, like I want to go maybe look at the traffic that actually went there. I want to go look at the host itself and try to understand, hey, was there any successful logins from this IP? So what I want to do is I'm just going to open up this time window a little bit more. And I'm just going to say in the past 24 hours, we're going to go ahead and open this up. It looks like I had another detection as well. And that's okay. What I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to say show this value only. And when we do that, the next thing I want to do is I'm going to go build some context. We're going to say add a correlation. And inside of here, it's going to ask you like, hey, we have a level B now. It's like, what do you want to know about? And in this scenario, I'm kind of interested in the traffic, maybe like VPC flow logs, for example, that were going to that EC2 instance. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say, show me my VPC flow logs. And it's going to ask you, what is the linking thing from that GuardDuty detection to the VPC flow logs? That's going to kind of the glue there. What's kind of piecing those things together? And it's the EC2 instance. So what it's going to go do is Observe is going to go actually bring back my VPC flow logs during this time frame, and only the things that are for web server 1 right here, and being able to bring those back. And so the first thing that I want to do is say, well, you know what? I really don't care about all the VPC flow traffic. I only care about where that IP was being impacted. I really don't care if it was the source or the destination. I kind of want to know all of the above. So I'm just going to say it contains that IP somewhere. I don't know where it lives. Somewhere in the VPC flow logs. And now it immediately returns those, and I can see where that IP was the source. I can see it was the destination. And for the most part, you can kind of see here, it's just hitting us on port 22, which makes a lot of sense for the brute force alert. The other thing I see inside of here is accept. So I do know that this traffic was actually making it to that EC2 instance inside of here. And one thing that I want to do here for really quick is kind of show you like how did Observe know that interface, that essentially that I6 whatever the number was web server 1. And one of the way we can do that, let me just come over here and duplicate this tab here really quick. And we have inside of our data sets what we call resources inside of here. So one of the things I can do is go to my resource and I can say, show me my EC2 instances. And essentially, this is just an inventory that we've been collecting since we started retrieving the data. And it lets me know over time, hey, what type of EC2s have we seen inside of the environment, and all of the attributes for it as well. So the instance ID is what we saw come in. And if you remember that I0689, it says, yep, I know who that is. That's web server 1. So you don't have to really work in the terms of an instance ID, we can work in the friendly name, and Observe's automatically going to do that for you. But inside of here, it's also tracking the ARN, the image ID, instance ID, status codes, all the different things that you might want to know about an EC2. And it's doing this over time. So as things change, maybe the EC2 is up, it's down, whatever, and it's going to be able to track the state of those things. So when we track these resources, there's no limit to how many resources. This one's completely done automatic by the AWS app. And you can create new ones as well, things that are relevant to your environment. So going back to what we have right here, now I'm only looking at that IP where it's impacting web server 1, and we can see 22, and all this traffic's accepted. So now my interest is peaked. I want to know more. So what I want to do is, I want to go add another correlation. And once again, it's asking you like, hey, what do you want to know about? I'm like, I really want to go down to the Linux host logs that were coming from that machine. And the linking pass once again is the EC2 instance. And it's going to come back and ask, and it's going to say, okay, well, great. Here's all your Linux host logs that are coming back from web server 1. What would you want to know about? And for me, once again, I'll only really care where the remote address equals that IP address that we saw inside of there. So I'm just going to go drop that inside of there. And now what we see here, the remote address inside of here, only for that one on web server 1. And the thing that I actually care the most about is really right here. Because if you kind of look at, like Linux logons, there's all kinds of things that kind of lead up ultimately to the logon. So we're seeing all these kind of crypto session exchanges, key user change, and things like that. But what I really care about is this user logon. So I'm just going to come in this column and say, show me only this value. And what this is going to do for us is now I can see only user logon, only to that IP address. And as I start to scroll over here, the result failed for the user root. Another thing that I could do right here is just come into the filter bar, and I could just say result equals, and I don't even have to do that right here, 100% of the results inside of here failed. So I have a better feeling right now, that what we're taking a look at actually was a failed attempt. There was no successful logons. However, this also gives me an opportunity to maybe put some additional controls inside of my environment. But ultimately what I wanted to show is that it's very easy to correlate data inside of here from a security workflow perspective, correlating disparate data sources together by just some linking thing inside of here. It could be an IP, a username, a host, really doesn't matter. And you can kind of keep tiering these together. And then ultimately, some of the things that I would do for maybe something like this one, where it's this 195.6 address, is that we can kind of start to dashboard some of these things as well. So if I come over my dashboard and I just say, let's just type in VPC, for example, or sorry, I think it was duty. Yeah, let's go to our GuardDuty detections. And then so basically, for example, in here, I'm like, hey, in the last 24 hours, let's go take a look at our GuardDuty detections. And in this particular one, I might want to go narrow it down a little bit more, obviously, to like the source IP. So if I come in here and say view more, let's go ahead and drop in that IP address. Let's go check the box right here and hit apply. What this is going to do for us is let us know all those things that I just did. One total finding, we can see that it impacted an EC2 instance, all that data right here. Scroll down here a little bit further, we can see that traffic came from the Netherlands and hitting web server 1. Our map narrowed down directly on where that came from. And down below, it went ahead and built out this whole workflow for us. All inbound connections from that IP address are going to be listed here with my VPC flow logs. All outbound connections that are being made to it as well are listed over here. And then down at the bottom, we can also go ahead and see any login attempts being made to that EC2. So very easy, where I could just simply go check a username or an IP or something like that, and it's going to go build out this for me. So you don't have to kind of go through the correlated workflow. It really kind of becomes user preference at that point. So I hope you found this informative. I'm probably going to post some more of these because I do quite a bit of this type of stuff inside of Observe. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks.